Hello, everyone. Today I have a very wonderful guest with me. Is none other than Air Commodore KNV Nair, who is a veteran of Indian Air Force and he is an alumni of Sainik School, National Defense Academy, College of Defense Management. He holds a master degree in management in Osmania University, and after a career in IAF spanning for 35 years, he has moved to corporate sector, and then he started his corporate life in an American multinational company based in Chennai as head HR. His last assignment in the corporate sector was on head employee and labor relationship with a French MNC. And his last appointment, I would say, he was a principal defense consultant with a defense project for Tamil Nadu government. More to his collar, more to his feathers, but he is a man with a lot of courage, principle, and I have learned a lot of things knowing him in the close quarters. And I'm really privileged to bring him into my show. I am Binu Korean with you. My show's name is Dream to Destiny, where I bring in inspiring people from all walks of life to learn from them and unlearn from them so that we can reach our destiny. Hey, Commodore KNV Nair, thank you very much for joining for the show Dream to Destiny. I'm really privileged to have you here. So how are things there in Chennai, sir?
All good. Things are picking up after the, we can't say pandemic is over, but this business as usual. If you look outside and see on the roads, people are all attending to their work and they're on to their business. That's the situation.
That's the situation.
But of course, where everybody is being careful, they all do wear the mask and to the extent possible, social distancing.
Great. So I know that, sir, you put almost 35 years in IAF, and it's. Could you just tell me how did you get into these forces?
Actually, it's a long story in the sense that it started very early because at the age of 12, I joined the Sainik School at Karakutam. Initially, it was in that was the first year when Sainik schools were formed, 1962. And Kerala also had a Sainik school, so that was in Trivandrum. And we went through the usual tests and things like that, interviews and tests, and only very selective, very small number of selected students joined the school in the initial batches. So that is where it all started. And why would one want to go to a Sainik school? Because we were too small at that age. We at that time, I don't think there was any great futuristic vision or anything like that. But I think my house was very close to the military cantonment in Pango in Trivandrum, and I used to see these people marching up and down, and maybe I think that must have had some kind of an impact, saying that they look good, they look smart, they look very purposeful in their the way they go about doing things. So maybe it is. I can't think of any other reason, but there was no other.
Yeah, but was it your 12-year boy? Was it your conscious decision, or somebody influenced to join the Karakutam school?
I think this influences from the environment, influence from the cantonment being close by. That is one. But of course, there are many children who joined along with me. They all have different reasons why they joined. But I think I was particularly keen to join the armed forces if there was an opportunity.
I know you're from a nuclear family. I mean, it's still not a big, with 4 or 5 people in a family as somebody, it's just a big decision, Did you had any parental pressure?
No. There was absolutely no parental pressure, but the parents were happy to send me to a boarding school.
Is it because that you are a naughty kid or something you don't control like that?
See, it is again comparative amongst siblings. Maybe I was first being a boy, and second, that the age eligibility and things like that were right. And I also had a keenness to join. So that is what it is.
Okay, good, sir. Sir, armed force, you were in Karakutam, then you joined in NDA. How was your experience in Karakutam school? I know the Karakutam, even it's one of the best schools. What was your experience in Karakutam school?
I can tell you with 100% certainty that Sainik School Trivandrum is one of the best managed schools, and it has produced outstanding officers who have joined the various career. It is not only the armed forces, though the very purpose of the Sainik School was to work as a feeder for National Defense Academy or other military academy. I mean, basically people should join armed forces. That is why it was created. But in the initial stages, not many could join for various reasons. Again, some you have to be selected. You are not. It's not that you join Sainik School so you automatically go to National Defence Academy. There is a selection process and things like that. So and some of them may not have wanted to join also initially, depending because there was a first time a military school was being set up in Kerala. And from my own batch of about 20 or 24 students, we are only 4 of us who joined the armed forces from that batch, who got selected through the services selection board and joined. But that school, it is a military school and it is headed by military officers. There's a lieutenant colonel from the army and a very upright officer who was chosen, specially chosen to head as the principal. There was a squadron leader from the Air Force. There was a captain from the army who was a registrar. So, they are the leaders. They are the ones who set the standards for that school right at the beginning. The teachers were specially chosen. I can say they are the best teachers. From all over India, the teachers were selected. They were not all from one state or something. There were people from Maharashtra, people from Punjab. There were teachers from UP. So these teachers were truly outstanding and so devoted. It is like a Gurukulam, because you are staying in the campus. And the teachers are available 24/7, and every activity of yours is monitored. Every help is given to the weak person. So it's an ideal setup for a school, and it balances academics along with outdoor activities and teaches you the most essential things which are required in life as in general, and armed forces in particular, teamwork. Okay. So that the first seeds are sown there in that Sainik School.
Yeah, sir. I understand that your first seeds are sown into a life skills, a lot of life skills you learned in Sainik School. And one question I want to ask, because you have been away from your family as a 12-year-old boy, did you miss the house, or or was that been taken care? Because I hear in Sainik School and all those things, that the emotional connect is pretty less. Do you agree with that?
I to an extent I agree, because we all go through that feeling of being homesick, because you are away from your parents and your friends and everybody, a new set of friends, and then it's like it is so mechanically organized that you get up at 5:30 in the morning, go for physical training, come back, go for breakfast. Everything is timed to such perfection. So you miss that little informality which was there at home. You could fight with somebody, you could shout back at someone, you could do whatever. All that was missing suddenly, and everybody, we were like a group of ants, everywhere in we all wear the same uniform. But the learning is phenomenal, because people from all levels and strata of society joined the school. Some of them may be very, very affluent. Some of them may not be affluent at all. But you are all treated alike. Okay. And
there's so not much difference there because of the caste, creed, and religion. Everybody is different.
And most importantly, the kind of opportunities that you have there to to debate, to take part in extracurricular activities, games. You name a game, the game is available, and special coaches come and coach you there. So with all those facilities available, you tend to think less about home slowly and slowly. As the day progresses, you tend to think less because you are involved in some activity or the other, and that keeps you busy. But of course, at the end of the day, when you go back and lie down in your bed, you are a boy of 12 years old or 11 years old. You naturally tend to think of your parents and your rest of your family.
Okay, great. Then I think you moved to NDA. So I would like to hear from your NDA experience. How was it?
In NDA, again, it is a very strict selection process. Out of thousands of cadets, students who appear for this examination, finally only 250 get to join. And I think it is rated as one of the toughest selection process, because it's in 4 stages. You appear a all India written examination conducted by the UPSC, followed by an interview, which is not an interview like we have outside. It is a 5-day effort in a services selection board. It is residential. You go stay there, and for 5 days you are checked out on your various attributes and abilities, which they can. There are experts doing that. There are psychologists, there are military officers. All kinds of tests are conducted, group and individual. And then they send you for a medical test if you are selected, and you have to go to very stringent medical test. After the medical test, then a merit list is drawn. So see the number of filters which are there.
I know.
All this, then you join NDA. And when you go there, of course, you know that you have put in a lot of effort to get in there, and it is a privilege to go to a the one of its kind academy in the world, where all the three services, Army, Navy, and Air Force, the future leaders are trained jointly in one place.
Yeah.
And I think it is one of those best, finest of institutions.
So you're blessed to have to train in one of the premier institutes in India, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, every ex NDA officer you ask, you meet, he will be absolutely very proud of his background, that he's from an NDA. I'm not belittling any other institution, because there are many training academies like Officers Training Academy, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy. Various academies are there, but this is at a different age. You go join at the age of 16, but those academies take people much later after graduation. And
I know. And is that true that you have to go for rigorous training mentally and physically in NDA? You have been pushed to the hard situations because your mind has to be. Is that true?
Yes.
I'm asking this question from the layman side.
No, it is progressively from the day you join, the day you go reach there. From that time onwards, you are under training, and it is a 24/7 training. And what do you say? It takes out the best out of everything. The last ounce of energy that is there in you trained out by the end of the day. And the next day it starts too early. We feel that we don't know when the day ends and when the day starts. So that is a kind of physical rigor that one has to go through. But then they are preparing you for something bigger as you join the armed forces. So that is how it is.
Okay. Now you're preparing for the bigger. So that's what I'm saying. You had fascinated at that age of 12 to seeing the uniform, and you came to the Sainik, then you came to NDA. You had any idea where are you heading to at the age when you're doing an NDA course, or you're also following with the current?
No. Once in NDA, you are very clear about what and where and how, and all those doubts are very well answered, because it is a military institution, and you're going to join the military. And the way of life in NDA is akin or very similar to what you're going to lead for the rest of your life, except for the hard portion of physical exertion, which is at the highest level of physical exertion. That is all that won't be there, but you should be prepared. That is what it teaches. And the 250 odd batchmates who come there, each of them is a specially selected person. So they are all very good. They're all raring to go. And that in India, that's a place where first you realize what is service before self. And everything is, you have to be absolutely selfless. And that is how it is.
Sir, one more question. Maybe were you very destined, or that you want to get an Air Force when you have Navy and Army there? Was it your conscious, or how does it happen?
Yeah, actually, a very interesting question that is, because everybody normally at that stage, unless you are from a military background, unless you are from, and probably to some extent you are from Sainik School and or Rashtriya Indian Military College and things like that, then you have a fair idea of what is Army, Navy, and Air Force. Otherwise, you generally think military. So we don't know the difference between various services. So it's a very strange system that when you appear for the examination, you have to fill up certain application forms. In that form, you will give a choice of your service. So usually you write Army, Navy, Air Force, or you have whatever you write. There is not so much of guidance in which service you should take, or your aptitude for which service. So you put, like I did initially put Army as my service. But the second time, and that particular time, I did not get selected. And the second attempt, when I got selected, you have to change your service if you want to get your travel concessions. That was a rule that time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was for no other reason that I just gave Air Force as the next.
Okay.
And then Navy. And while in India, I tried to change to Navy because there was an option to change to a service. So that influence, whoever influences, and in National Defense Academy, you have officers from all the three services in various levels of organization there. And they have a tremendous impact on you and their influence on you, depending on who is your guide, whom you are following. So those things matter.
I mean, this question I'm asking, did you have any breakaway moment or a turning point in your life when you were in the NDA? So maybe could be a mentor, or maybe in NDA I'm asking, not in forces, because that's a real time that, a lot of hardships and, from a very family, and maybe the first impression for any person in 70s or 80s is that, my son will be going to straight into war with Indo-Pak war. So all this confusions, chaos, and everything. Did you have any turning point in your life, or somebody who could any dream?
Frankly, no, because I did not have anything. The very fact that I was in a Sainik school and from there I went on to NDA, I thought it was a natural process. So when we went there, but there, you get to know the how rigid your life can be, how tough your life can, and what you should expect for the future.
That's
Because at the you will go out of academy at the age of 19 or 20, and then in a year's time you are commissioned into the armed forces. And at that age, at an age of 19 to 21 or 22, depending on that year at the entry age, to be entrusted with such responsibilities, huge responsibilities as an officer, it is very different from what it is in the civil. The kind of responsibility and the commitment that you have to have.
Okay.
At that age, at that particular age, I'm saying.
So, where was your first posting, sir, after completing NDA?
No, it was not posting. Then you go on to flying, and after NDA, you don't join the service directly.
Okay.
Go to your respective, like Army cadets will go to IMA, Air Force cadets will go to the Air Force Academy, and the Naval cadets will go to their academy.
How many years training is in the academy? I mean, after this NDA?
After NDA, it is 3 years, and in the other place, 1 year of training. In IMA, you go for 1 year.
Great. So once that entire training was there, how did you start? You'll have got some posting somewhere, right? After India, you went to training, and do you remember where was your first posting and what was your first?
Yes, I was first posted to Chandigarh, but that was a very brief tenure. Within about few months, I was nominated for a course which is a specialist course called Fighter Controllers course. I went there from there to Lucknow, and that course only is for 6 months. And after 6 months, again another transfer. So I went to Assam in a place called Dinjan, which is near Dibrugarh, Tinsukia, if you know.
Okay.
So that was the far east. Which days it used to take a long time to travel from there to Trivandrum. If you have to come, it takes about 5 days.
5 days, and that too, those days there's no aircraft direct. You need to really take.
Isn't it? Train and
So 35 years in IAF, it's not a joke, and and many of us recently, many of are taking VRS, after doing 10, 20 years. So we have been completed 35 years there. And how is your journey there? Is anything that any aspirants who wants to get into armed force would like to listen? Your experience, your challenges, the story. I know I know this platform wouldn't be enough, but still some remarkable inspirations, things that you can share to the youngsters.
The armed forces is a way of life. It is not a job. It is not one of those jobs that you get. When you commit yourself to the armed forces, it's a way of life. And from then onwards, there are certain attributes which are essential to be in the armed forces. The most one which stands out, which everybody knows, is discipline, of course, which is required in every walk of life, but is much more in the armed forces. That plus there are various qualities which you have to show, because as I told you, at a very young age you need to lead your men, and particularly in the army, for example, sometimes they are born into battle. My batch, for example, they were from the academy, they were straight, they moved into the battle in 71 war. So and then they lead people, and when you lead people, the most important thing is that there is a cord between the people whom we lead and the leader. That is it's like an umbilical cord, which is basically trust.
Yes.
And to create that trust, you need to be inspirational. You need to have character. You need to have fair play. I mean, you can add any number: loyalty, integrity, honesty. All these factors come into play because you are leading people who are taking orders from you and who have said that they will even lay down their life for you. Why would anybody want to lay down his life for you? Means it's for the country, but in effect, it is the leader who is telling him to get into a risk-prone crisis or a situation which is very tough. So when a person is willing to do that, that means he looks at his leader as someone whom he can entirely rely on. And you asked a question about in school, do you miss your family?
Yeah.
But in these kind of things, when you're on a field tenure or a posting like that for the soldiers, our Jawans and etc., they are away from the family for a very, very long period. And they miss them very dearly.
Obviously, yeah.
It both ways. The family misses him, but then he has got a job to do, which he has taken an oath and said, we take an oath every year to say that we will do everything to uphold the constitution. We'll do everything to. And in NDA, from NDA days onwards, you are channelized to take a difficult option if it is right, and not to choose an easy option which is wrong. So you are always, you always choose the difficult option if that is the right option.
Okay.
The degree of difficulty should not deter you from taking that option, because you take that option because your commitment, your conviction is to take that option.
I think that's a very good message. Sir has told us, Commodore has told us that, this you should, that's a youngsters are facing nowadays. We always want an easy way to, reach success. See what Sir has said. He said, grab the toughest opportunity, do the well and reach the success. Is that understanding right, sir?
Yeah, that's right. You should, I mean, that's how we are trained. We are trained to do that.
Yeah, that's a message that I also want to give to the, youngsters that, there could be challenges. But we can't just go through the easy way to get into your destination. There could be challenges where we need to put it. Take the opportunity, even if it is big challenge there. That is that success lies. If it's an easy way, you may not reach as it is destined.
Yes.
So good message, Commodore, is really, really. And 35 years, anything more remarkable? I know maybe during this time, your family, blessed with 2 girls, your wife, all these things happened, but you've been shuttling down from A to Z all over India. Any good things that you want to say about your family life? And I understand that you all work in a high pressurized environment. It's not that we see. So one question I want to ask you, because, to the youngsters again, and what is the message that, because nowadays, husbands, wife, family, corona, pandemic, domestic violence, and I know that, what is your success in your family life? I've heard and read a lot of, like you said, they're missing the family, they are doing a distant. Nowadays, it's more easy, like, mobiles are happening, but still disconnect somewhere, miscommunications. What is the success story of your family life?
See, as far as a family, a defense family is concerned, I won't talk about mine, I will talk about in general.
Yeah, that's what I want, sir.
In general, a soldier's family or a military officer's family, they go through a great degree of sacrifice in every aspect of their life to make sure that their husband, the man who is on the
correct,
is kept motivated, and they keep praying for his longevity and things like that. So there are many things that your family misses out. Like, for example, I'm saying that that you can ask many of the military officers. Many of them would never have attended a PTA meeting with their children, because they are not available to go and attend these meetings. As all others go, or go and be present in a award function where the children are getting the awards. When every child would expect the parents to be there and sitting and clapping for them, taking photographs. Most of these parents are not available for this thing. Even during peacetime, I'm talking about, because even during peacetime, they are committed. And it's so much true for Army more than for Navy and the Air Force, because Navy and the Air Force, the life is fairly easier. You come back to your home base and things like that. But for the Army, it is indeed very tough. And secondly, your transfers are, it is part of the system that you will be transferred. You will not stay in one place altogether. Either your unit moves or you move. Then there are a number of professional courses which one has to do during your service career to make sure that you are updated on every aspect. So during these things, these transfers, the family also moves. If it is a family station. If it is not a family station, they go back to a non-family area and stay. Again, they are not in their own hometown. They go to another place where they get the accommodation. So in most of these things, it is the children who lose their friends.
I know.
And they go to a new school, new uniform, new teachers, new set of friends. It takes time for them to acclimatize to the new area, new place. And they know the parents, the father is under severe pressure himself to settle down, because when you go to a new place, you don't have time, 15 to 20 days time for you to go and join your work. You immediately join work next day, and the family is left to, so what happens at the end of the day is these children, they develop certain qualities which will stand them in good stead all through their life. So you can simply make out a defense officer's child, by the way the child will can adapt
themselves, and I've seen that.
Adapt to a new place, adapt to a new climate.
Flexibility and adaptability is a key for that is what it happens. When the change happens, you should have the mindset to embrace the change.
That becomes part of their life to adapt to change. No one questions a transfer or posting. We just pack and move to the next place, and next place again. You are settled within no time, and they made their new friends. They made their new books, new uniform. Everything is so. So is the mother, the mother of the children. She has to be. She has to manage a new place, everything. And you imagine a home shifting every 2.5 years or 3 years. It's not easy. And our country is a very big country. It's not that you are shifting from Cochin to Trivandrum. You are shifting from Assam to Kutch, from there to Kashmir, Kashmir to Trivandrum. I mean, you can imagine that kind of